Let's get started with our first news. Borralho has officially called out Robert Whittaker, setting the stage for what could be an intense showdown in 2026. Late last night, Borralho took to X and dropped a message that instantly caught the attention of fight fans around the world. He wrote, "I heard there's a card in Australia in February 2026 at Robert Whittaker. What do you think about a dance in your hometown?" That simple line has now ignited a wave of speculation across the MMA community. Borralho, known for his technical precision, calm confidence, and rapidly rising stock in the middleweight division, seems ready to test himself against one of the most respected veterans in the sport. Robert Whittaker, a former UFC middleweight champion, has long been the measuring stick for anyone trying to break into the elite level. Facing him isn't just about a fight, it's about proving you belong among the best. Fans know that Whittaker never backs down from a challenge, especially when it comes to fighting on home soil. Australia has always been his battleground, the place where his loyal fan base shows up in full force. And if this matchup happens, the atmosphere would be electric. Imagine Whittaker stepping into the octagon in front of thousands of roaring Australian fans, with Borralho standing across from him, hungry, focused, and determined to make his mark. For Borralho, this call-out is more than just hype. It's a statement of intent. He's been quietly climbing the rankings, showcasing his ground control, sharp striking, and strategic fight IQ. Calling out someone like Whittaker means he's ready for a true test, a test of experience, skill, and composure. While no official response has come from Whittaker yet, the idea of this fight taking place on Australian soil in early 2026 has the MMA world buzzing. Two warriors from different paths, one seeking redemption, the other seeking recognition. If this bout becomes reality, it could easily be one of the most anticipated fights of the year. Moving on to another news, Alexander Volkanovski believes Charles Oliveira would have struggled if he had faced Rafael Fiziev instead of Mateusz Gamrot. According to Volkanovski, the former lightweight champion might have had a completely different outcome had that fight gone as originally planned. In a recent video on his YouTube channel, Volkanovski broke down Oliveira's situation, explaining that while Gamrot was a solid matchup, Fiziev would have been a whole different challenge. He said, "Although it's a much better matchup for him than Rafa, when I heard he was turning around that quick after a big knockout against Rafa, that's not the best idea. Someone like Rafa only 3 months after a KO, that's tough." Gamrot was definitely the better option, because Charles didn't have to worry about the KO threat as much. The guy's going to grapple, and obviously with a full camp, Charles knew he could handle himself wherever that fight went. Volkanovski continued, pointing out how Fiziev's style could have caused serious problems for Oliveira. With Rafa, it would have been rough. He would have been good in the scrambles, he would have landed on him for sure, and you'd have to see if Charles's chin would hold up. That's why it would have been a rough one for him, he added. After Saturday night's victory, Oliveira proved once again why he's one of the most resilient fighters in the sport. True to his word, he hosted a heartwarming celebration for families in the favelas of Brazil, offering food, gifts, and joy for the children. It was a reminder of how deeply connected he remains to his roots, never forgetting the people who've supported him through every stage of his journey. Meanwhile, Gamrot broke his silence on the loss, posting a poetic and deeply emotional message on Instagram. He wrote, "The wolf could not weather the storm. The wind was too strong, the lightning too close, and the ground beneath my feet was shaking like a heart. He's down, not from lack of courage, but from the weight of everything heaven carried. But even then, he didn't quit. He raised his head to the black clouds with tears in his eyes and said, 'It ain't over yet.' The storm stopped his step, but it did not break his path. The flame is still burning." Considering Oliveira came out of the fight unscathed, fans are hopeful to see him back inside the octagon soon, ready for whatever challenge lies ahead. Moving on to another news. Merab has finally opened up about his long-standing beef with Petr Yan, revealing how their tension first began and how things have changed since then. Leading up to their first fight, it was clear that there was no love lost between these two. The rivalry was personal, intense, and full of pride. But according to Merab, things have cooled down over time. During an appearance on the Ariel Helwani show this week, Merab explained that while the bad blood was real, it no longer defines their relationship. "Before I was mad because he was a bully," Merab said. "Like I've said many times, when I saw him for the first time, he was a bully. Even in Abu Dhabi, right before his fight, he was talking with Aljo, and then he points and says, 'This guy is nothing, he's small.' So I went and stood next to him, smiling, and he looked at me again and said, 'This guy's zero.' He gave me no respect. That moment stuck with Merab for a long time, fueling the intensity of their eventual clash. But now, with the past behind him and his focus on continuing his incredible run, Merab says he's moved on. Their UFC 323 matchup is now official, marking another massive fight in his already historic year. Following the announcement, Merab revealed that he's wasting no time. "I'm going back to Vegas tonight," he said. "I'll start training immediately. I don't want to waste a single day. This upcoming fight will mark his 4th title defense within a single year, a new UFC record, and he's already planning ahead for what's next. I'm willing to fight again in March," he added. "February will be in Australia. I don't think they'll give me that, but March sounds realistic, even with his busy schedule." Merab took a moment to share some positive words about Hunter Campbell's respect for Ariel Helwani, showing that not everyone in the UFC holds a grudge against the veteran journalist. "I had dinner with Hunter and some people," Merab said. "I mentioned Ariel's name, and Hunter told me he's a very hard worker." Despite the ongoing tension between Dana and Ariel, it's clear that mutual respect still exists within parts of the organization. As for Merab, his focus remains locked on maintaining his championship dominance and continuing to make history inside the octagon. Moving on to another news, Sean Brady has officially reacted to his newly announced fight, and as always, his mindset is focused and fearless. Speaking on the Brady Bag Show, the undefeated contender made it clear that no matter when or where, he's ready to face anyone who stands in his path to the title. Brady said, "Whether I fight him now or I fight him later, it doesn't matter. I'm going to have to get to him eventually. So, I might as well get him out of the way now." He added that coming off a huge win over Leon and then taking on a dangerous young up-and-comer is exactly the kind of risk he's willing to take. "Once I beat him, I'll be undeniable for the title shot. That's what I'm going to prove to do. I'm just going to keep becoming undeniable until they have to give me that shot." Confident and composed, Brady emphasized that waiting around isn't part of his plan. "I'm not waiting, bro. There's no perfect matchup in the UFC. Everyone's tough, everyone hits hard, and we're the best fighters in the world. You have to be ready for any of them. This is the fight they brought me, and I said, yeah, let's do it." When asked if he felt frustrated about going from fighting a top-ranked opponent to now facing someone lower in the rankings, Brady didn't hesitate to speak his mind. "No, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the UFC doesn't care about rankings. They make the decisions. I go out there, I beat Michael Morales after beating Leon, and they can't keep denying me a title shot." He went on to explain that it's not the rankings, fans, or media that make the fights. It's the UFC itself. They make the fights. The rankings don't make the fights. The fans don't make the fights. The UFC makes the fights. So I'll just keep going out there, keep being undeniable, and eventually, they'll have to give me what I want. Brady closed with a statement that perfectly sums up his fighter mentality. "If not, it's fine. I'm a fighter. I get paid to fight and I love to fight. So I'm just gonna keep fighting until I get there." It's clear that Sean Brady's determination hasn't wavered one bit. He's ready to face whoever the UFC puts in front of him until his path leads straight to the gold. Moving on to another news, Henry Cejudo was caught in 4K during a hilarious moment on Rampage Jackson's livestream, and the internet can't stop talking about it. The two former champions ran into each other at a recent event, and what started as a casual conversation quickly turned into an unforgettable viral clip. As the story goes, Cejudo approached Rampage and pulled him aside, pointing out a woman nearby. What Henry didn't realize, however, was that Rampage was live at that very moment, with his microphone picking up every single word. The scene played out in real time, and Rampage's reaction made it even funnier. Cejudo, whispering, said, "Look at that. Right in front of you, huh?" "No, in front of you, like behind you." Rampage looked around, confused, before responding, "Yeah, but to the side? Is that a..." And before he could finish, Cejudo added, "Let me see. You gotta see it, though." Rampage leaned in, nodded, and said, "Oh yeah. Oh my god, yeah." Then came the big reveal. Rampage turned to Cejudo and said, "Oh, that one? I got to tell you, you didn't know I'm live streaming?" Cejudo froze for a moment before asking, "No, what?" Rampage laughed and replied, "Man, we live. I thought you knew. We've been live the whole time." The look on Cejudo's face was priceless as he processed what had just happened. "Really?" he asked, still stunned. Rampage couldn't stop laughing as he responded, "Yeah, I'm a streamer now. I'm not a fighter no more." The clip spread across social media within hours, with fans replaying the moment again and again. MMA Twitter went wild, flooding the comments with jokes and reactions. Some called it the funniest moment of the year, while others couldn't believe Cejudo's reaction when he realized the mic had caught everything. Despite the awkwardness, it was all in good fun. Rampage handled it with his trademark humor, while Cejudo, as always, took the embarrassment like a champ. The two even shared a laugh afterward, proving that no harm was done. The MMA community had a field day with the incident, with memes, edits, and clips circulating non-stop. It's another reminder that in the world of live streaming, nothing is off the record. And sometimes, the most unexpected moments become instant classics. Moving on to another news, Dan Hooker has made it clear that he's fired up and motivated ahead of his upcoming fight with Arman. During a recent interview with Combat TV, Hooker revealed that this is the matchup he truly wanted, even before his previous fight with Justin Gaethje was booked. "This is the fight that I wanted," Hooker said confidently. "This is the fight that I wanted before the Gaethje fight got matched. This is the one I was chasing because I feel like it's the guy that everyone thinks is going to beat me, and that's exactly why I want it. That's what drives me." Hooker went on to explain that while many fighters chase the fun fights, he's focused on proving himself against the toughest possible challenge. Everyone wants those fun fights and the highlight reels, the big names, but for me, I want the toughest test. I want the guy that everyone thinks I'm going to lose to. I want the guy where the ODDS are stacked against me, he said. The New Zealander thrives in that kind of pressure. "This is one of those fights," he continued. "I'm a big underdog, and honestly, I can't wait to see the betting odds. I love it when the boys make a bunch of money off me. That's my favorite, coming in as the underdog. That's where I thrive. That's where I do my best work." Hooker also admitted that his motivation for this fight feels completely different from the Gaethje matchup. "I'm excited," he said. "This fight gets me out of bed. The Gaethje fight didn't even get me out of bed, honestly. I wasn't really feeling it. But this fight, this one is different. It's exciting to me, and that's something people might not understand. But it's real." For Hooker, it's never been just about fame or comfort. It's about the challenge. Facing a rising force like Arman is exactly what keeps that competitive fire burning. "I love when people doubt me," Hooker said with a grin. "That's when I perform my best." As fight night approaches, Dan Hooker's mindset is locked in, ready to step into the cage not just to win, but to remind everyone why he's one of the most resilient and battle-hardened fighters in the lightweight division. Move on to another news. A tough setback has hit the upcoming UFC 322 card as one fighter has officially pulled out of his scheduled bout. The highly anticipated matchup between City and Malcolm Wellmaker has now been derailed, as City has been forced to withdraw due to a serious injury. The news first broke through MMA Junkie's Nolan King, who confirmed the unfortunate update earlier this week. City later took to Instagram to explain what happened, sharing an emotional message with his fans. He wrote, "It's heartbreaking to write this, but unfortunately I have to pull out of my fight on November 15th for UFC 322 due to a brutal shoulder dislocation during practice. I apologize to my opponent. I was extremely excited for this opportunity, but I guess it just wasn't meant to be this time. I'll do everything I can to heal quickly and be back soon. Thank you to everyone for the love and support." It's a huge blow for City, who was looking to make a major statement inside the octagon. Fans had high hopes for this fight, and now the promotion must scramble to find a short-notice replacement for Wellmaker. But City wasn't the only one forced out this week. Another fighter, Austin Bashi, has also withdrawn from his upcoming bout scheduled for November 8th against Jamal Emmers. In a statement to fans on Instagram, Bashi explained that ongoing injuries have kept him sidelined. He said, "Unfortunately, I won't be stepping into the cage this November. I've been dealing with an injury that hasn't allowed me to train properly and needs more time to heal. After talking with my team and the medical staff, the smart move is to recover fully before getting back to work. Thank you for all the support. I'll be back soon." Both City and Bashi's withdrawals highlight just how unpredictable the fight game can be. Fighters spend weeks pushing their bodies to the limit, and sometimes injuries become impossible to avoid. As of now, the UFC hasn't announced who will step in to face either Wellmaker or Emmers, but the expectation is that the promotion will look for short-notice replacements to keep both bouts alive on their respective cards. Fans are hoping the show will still deliver, as the road to UFC 322 continues with plenty of drama inside and outside the cage.